Okay, Miss Beanie. Okay. All right. So, everybody, this is Miss Beanie. Isn't she adorable? She's actually not directly my baby. She's my grandbaby dog, would you say? So, she is one of my children's dogs. So, oh, Beanie, beautiful. Thank you, darling. I appreciate that. I just got a message from, can you believe it? It's like late at night and she has so much energy still. Now, I felt compelled to do this video in case it makes a difference. And I know the lighting's all wrong and Miss Beanie's doing a yoga pose, trying to nibble on my fingers here, but I'm just going to give it a go. This is a message from Shelley. She is super distraught. She says, "Hi Anne, you come highly recommended by a friend. We have a 14-and-a-half-year-old German Shepherd and we're really worried that our time with him is extremely limited. He has an interest in food but can hardly hold himself to stand long enough to eat. And he's also stopped walking to take himself to the toilet. Just wondering how to go about engaging your services and how do I know when he's really had enough?" So this is a really tricky one because, you know, as family, we love them so much and we don't want to make the wrong decision for them. Personally, the issue that I had, and this is the reason why I set up this service, is because I felt that I was in the same position despite having all the data in the world about our boy. I just wasn't 100% sure if the timing was now, even though he had kidney failure and the treatment wasn't working and his parameters are getting worse and the lights were on but no one was home for him. Even though all of that was going on, I still found it incredibly difficult to say now, like right now. You know what I mean? Like I just kept doubting myself. And that's me with a vet degree and 10 years experience and a whole bunch of data. So please know that this is a really important question to address. Even us guys who are meant to have degrees struggle with it. If I could turn back time, if I could turn back time, I would want for me to have the suffering instead of him. I would want to be able, 2020 hindsight's wonderful, isn't it? I would want to have the suffering of uncertainty, suffering of like the emotional pain around making these sorts of decisions and the timing of them. I would rather have that I had done that and stop our boy from his decline, like at the top of the decline, rather than have him go all the way to the bottom of the decline and then he had to go through all of that experience, right? I would so much rather have had it be that he didn't have to go through that unnecessary decline and pain. I would so much rather have had that my boy had some semblance of, you know, quality of life, that I wasn't measuring his life by can he eat, wee, you know, drink and poo, you know, like that's an achievement. I think that retrospectively, if I start to go down the road of I'm celebrating basic stuff like food in and elimination out and getting up to do it, like that's an achievement, that is like a red flag to me now. Now, 2020 hindsight again. Hey, Miss Boo. Thank you for helping. She's just helping. And isn't she helpful? Yes. Yes. Okay. So, how do we know? All right. So this is what I set up for myself with my retrograde hindsight. I try not to make the appetite go, okay? Because sometimes when animals don't have an appetite, it's because they're really feeling very poorly. And they don't need to get to that point, okay? Plus I use food as a bit of a distractor, so they're in their happy place in our appointment. So a quick summary of what I look out for. There will be 3 characteristic behaviors that they do that make them who they are. For example, with Miss Beanie, it's this thing that she does where she gets all playful and, you know, she wants your attention. So that's a characteristic for her. If it got to the point where she was super old, and she's only 3 at the moment, she was super old and she just didn't want to play anymore like that, or let's just say that she only did it a little bit, maybe a little bit of the time, and it was like low energy, I'd be like, well, that particular characteristic then is less than 50% in terms of its exuberance and occurrence. Okay, so there's going to be 3 different behavioral characteristics, not to do with food, but 3 different characteristics, like maybe walking or playing a game, or how they greet you, something like that. When you have still eating, and maybe 3 of the characteristics are still there, but they're at like 50%, or maybe still eating, but only one of the characteristics is left, and it might be all the way to 100%, but there's only one left. That's a good time to book me for ASAP. You know, like maybe not the next day, but definitely within the next few days, because you don't want them to go down that roller coaster of discomfort. I mean, see, suffering, I suppose, isn't bad, except I think now it is. See, for example, if somebody breaks their leg, right, the body causes suffering because it's saying, if you don't use your leg, I can fix it. And then 6 weeks later, all that suffering was worth something, okay? But I think in this case, you know, when they get older like this, the suffering is really, this is a very unscientific thing to say, but it really just makes them want to leave their little physical bodies, or big physical bodies. Like, makes them just want to not be there, you know? So we don't have to have them go through that if we can help it. Can't always help it, but we can do our best, right? So with that, I hope it's given some sort of clarity or ideas, and Miss Beanie's been very enthusiastically supporting the whole conversation. Oh, it's getting a bit nibbly now, but I want to say thank you for loving your furry family as much as you do. It's a very special, sacred time for people we love who just happen to have a lot of fluff or hair or feathers, but we love them nonetheless. And it's the hardest decision ever, but it's a gift of kindness, and we only ever give it when there's no other option left. So I hope this helps a little bit, and sending my love to you and your family from Beanie and I.